I just spent 2 hours trying to catch a darn tog, and I couldn't even get a single scratch. But as soon as that tide changed, I found some tog. Another big tog, man. The big ones are here. Mixed with a little bit of chaos. And this is exactly how it all went down. So this day did not start off great. First, I got kicked off the ramp I was launching on, so I launched at a location further away from where I wanted to fish, and once I got on the water, my sonar wasn't working right, and even my trolling motor was acting weird. But I pushed through it and got set up on the jetty rocks anyway. I had the structure I wanted, but I just couldn't get a bite. 2 hours of moving around, losing jigs, trying to find something, but honestly, I was cold, just about ready to go home. But before I left, I decided to make one last move. The tide was just about to turn, so I slid over to the bridge pilings, and that's when everything changed. And there it is, finally, the first bite of the trip. And of course I missed him, but that's okay because it's told me the only thing I need to know. All right, so there are fish. Been out here for a couple of hours. There's finally fish at this bridge. All right, so that's the kind of bite it is, man. They're real timid right now, but they are there. You see, in cold water, they don't really attack the jig. So instead of waiting for a big hit, I'm just slowly lifting up that jig and I'm waiting to feel weight. And this is where my exploratory lift method really reigns supreme. First fish of the season, man. And it is a tog. And he is looking close to keeper side. That's a keeper. I got myself a keeper tog. That's dinner. Look at that, man. It's a nice friggin' tog. Alright, man, so there's your report. Tog are biting. They're really lethargic. And the keepers are here. It's the only fish I caught today so far. He's almost 16. That's gonna make a nice dinner. Okay, something's going to happen in this clip that's going to cause me to panic for a second before I realize what's actually happened. Yeah, that kind of startled me, and before the end of the clip, it's actually going to happen again. Another big tog, man. The big ones are here. Wow. Holy cow. Dude, my elbow hit the engine and started running that NK engine really, really hard. Let me go again. Okay, so I've just pulled the safety magnet off the control throttle. It is the easiest solution to prevent this sort of chaos. That's a big tog, dude. That is a big tog. This one's 18. Okay, so usually I like to bleed out my tog and get them on ice right away, but because I know how short these bite windows can be in the springtime, I'm just going to leave them out on the deck and get a bait down as soon as possible. But this is going to create another situation. Get this bait down there as soon as possible because this is really kind of time to go. So it does pay to check your jig periodically, even if you know you still have bait on there. I've noticed in the springtime there tends to be a lot of this annoying vegetation around. I call it green slime, and if you get any of it on your jig, you're going to want to pull it off of there. This keeps the bait looking pretty and prevents any unwanted drag in the water. So with bites this slow, you really have to focus, and right now I'm in my zone. And that's when things like this tend to happen. Yeah, that's exactly why Mama always said to make sure you have an extra pair of clean underwear with you at all times. So we got 2 keepers off that first piling, and then I couldn't get a bite, so I just moved. That's typically what I do. If I get a bite, catch a couple of fish, then the bite doesn't seem to be there anymore, I move. It catches me a lot of fish if I keep moving. Some fish messing around with it. This next clip is going to be a great example of my exploratory lift technique in action. Still doesn't have it. And if you don't know what that is, I will leave a link at the end of this video to a tutorial on how it's done. You should check it out because it'll definitely help you to catch more fish. Something's chewing on it lightly, but not taking it. Ah, this one's smaller. Or maybe not. Yeah, he's small. See about a 12 or a 13 incher. Bye-bye. All right, guys, last fish here, and don't forget about that bonus link at the end. This is a decent fish, man. Another keeper. Wow. Dude, 4 fish, 3 keepers, and the 3 keepers are big. That's what you call a slow pick, man. That is what you call a slow pick. Well, there you go, man. That's why you stick it out. This trip went from terrible to dinner on my table. This one's 16 and a half. And I may have only caught 4 fish in the entire trip, but you know what? If this was 3 years ago before I learned that exploratory lift, I never would have caught any of these fish. All right, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something from it. If you did, hit that like button, smash that notification bell, and please consider supporting me by subscribing to my YouTube channel at South Jersey Yak Fishing. And here's that video link. Catch you next time, guys. Peace.